Short. I am Prep Baseball's Vice President of Scouting, Shooter Hunt, here to break down some action from our recently updated draft board. Most specifically, we're talking about Prep Shortstops. This year's group, not quite as strong as that epic 2019 crew that's starting to make its name with Bobby Witt Jr., Anthony Volpe, Gunnar Henderson. You throw in all those guys. Not sure it's right there, but the depth of this class and the shortstops more specifically will honestly give tons of value to the team that select them. Let's take a look right ahead at the top. Bryce Rayner sitting at the top. He's an Ohtani wannabe, one of the top prep pitching prospects as well. But the left-handed bat, it's a Corey Seager type frame, wide shoulder. He's really able to slow things down very well there in Southern California. Coming from Harvard Westlake High School, which has produced so many big leaguers in the past. You know what you're going to get there. In the box, again, slows things down really well. It's has some power potential. The frame's going to continue to fill out at a 6'3"-ish, 190. I think there's a ton more to come from the bat, can utilize the whole field, but he really does well on the dirt. It's a plus arm across. He has a chance to stick at shortstop. Really, really one of the best that we've seen in quite some time. Moving on to Wyatt Sanford, a Dallas area native, a shortstop who didn't have the strongest summer results-wise, but the tools are loud. Going to stick at shortstop, that's the one thing that stood out throughout the whole process over the last 4 years. Silky smooth on the dirt, quick first step. It's a plus run tool. And honestly, the hands really play. What has really catapulted him to this #2 ranking in the prep class with regards to shortstops is the physicality that he's added. It's something that we thought probably would have happened on campus at Texas A&M. It is already showing up. The power from the left side, potentially some swing and miss. Guys are looking for some of that to be mitigated in helping them make that early selection. I still think that Wyatt Sanford is strong first round potential because he's got some solid bloodlines with regards to the baseball world, can handle the barrel. The tool is only going to get better. There's going to be enough power there. And in the end, the run tool is going to be there nonstop. And the fact that he can really defend is also going to be there. Carter Johnson, #3 on this board. One of my ultimate favorites in this class. Really sweet stroke that we saw at our PBR Future Games as an uncommitted underclassman. Came to the All-American game, had a huge summer last year. One of the big things that scouts were looking for from him, can he hit the ball hard? We knew that the contact was going to be there, spray to all fields. I think he did a good job for himself throughout the summer into the fall with regards to showing off that potential power. Honestly, he's an Alabama native, just like Gunnar Henderson. I think the fact that Gunnar Henderson has gone off recently has really helped him. Another guy, you chance to stick it short, but honestly, the bat's going to be what plays for him. Results-wise this spring, a lot of walks, was not the super loud, in-your-face, hitting 700 type stuff from him, but he's going to really hit. And you look back this summer where he was playing with Team USA, going all around the national circuit. He did his thing. He's going to be more than fine. I think he'll have lots of teams suiting him, especially in that back third of the first round into the supplemental. Tyler Bell, a guy almost unheard of in many national circles, but it's a guy out of Illinois. They produce so much talent there. And even the cold weather bats, you look at Colt Emerson, who came out from Ohio last year. You go Cole Young out of Pennsylvania. Those guys have had some success at pro ball. You can toss Tyler Bell into that category. Switch hitting shortstop, which is very rarely seen from the American side on the infield. You have to go way back to find guys who really fit that profile. Another guy who's not had the strong spring results-wise, but he's done so much in the past. I still think that the upside of what he can turn into is what makes him so intriguing. Probably looking more supplemental second round right now, unless he goes off late and gets some important eyes in there. But if you can get him in that second round, I think it'll pay dividends down the road. Really good player on the infield, clean hands, moves well. The speed has shown up at times. He's about a 6'6" runner. Huge metrics, was at the Super 60 in February, showing off big bat speed. So I think probably a split group right now in the scouting community with where they have Tyler Bell. We are high on that. I think the makeup's going to push him through the roof. If he gets to Kentucky, you're talking about a potential top 15 pick in 3 years. Charlie Bates, probably the more intriguing guy in this class. We've been very high on him for a while now. Huge standout in the summer circuit. I think the power from the left side is something that's really intriguing. He's willing to give up some swing and miss from the left side while getting that power, especially showing some stuff to the pull side recently. He is committed to Stanford, which will provide some signability issues historically. We'll see what happens, but can stick at shortstop. I think the arm is something to follow from there going across. Can he truly be that lockdown defender? But I think the bat plays, and he really plays with bounce all over the diamond. It really is a class. Who are the guys that are going to just absolutely stick here nonstop? I think Rayner's the one at the top who kind of defines for the high school. He's the number one player in the class, regardless of position. He's kind of the guy who, value wise, he's going to command that full signing bonus. The rest of these guys, you start looking at a potential splice up a little bit, cut up, get a haircut, see how many we can put together. But beyond Bates, Tyson Lewis, a Nebraska kid, he's one of the younger players in this class, just a little bit older, over 18 once the draft day hits. He's from Nebraska, hasn't had quite the same experiences as other guys, the reps against the high-level arms of a Bryce Rayner who's facing a top 60 pick seemingly every game. But what he has shown is some explosive unteachableness. Left side, it's a thunderous barrel, loose hands. It was kind of looser throughout the summer. We saw a bit of a change, deeper hand load at the Super 60. It's cleaned up some this spring, but I think that the high ceiling is what you're looking at. If a team's going to go after him, that's what you're paying for. That high ceiling where he can ultimately get to that and show you big power, hit tool. He can really run on. It's an impressive specimen to see. I say it all the time. Nebraska's just rolling out some absolute freak athletes right now. And you look at Mike Bovee, Max Anderson, guys who have come out of Nebraska with less heralded high school careers because they didn't have the experience, but have really elevated themselves. Whether Tyson Lewis can stick at shortstop, that's going to be the most notable thing. However, push to third base is not a huge issue for him because that left-handed bat and the power that you're paying for is something that you'll want to know going forward. Behind him, Caleb Bonnemer, who was another huge summer standout, kind of got better throughout the summer where there was some swing and miss early at the PDP. But again, he's from Michigan. He's not facing those mega arms. Got better throughout. It's blue collar as it comes. That guy steps up to the plate. It's one of those where no batting gloves type where he's gripping and ripping. It's more stagnant hands at the plate and more direct path, but the power is not subsided because of that. He does have huge pull power. He's more of a third base defender for me, but he's going to get it done. Blue collar kid. He gets the UVA. He's the type that you get there and he gets better. Definitely a top 2 round talent right now, potentially 2-3. So we'll see because I do think that there's high upside because he's a good athlete and he plays hard. Trey Snyder, kind of a guy where the high floor just continues to get higher. And he's gone out there since his freshman year, does nothing but perform in game. He's made some minor tweaks to his swing, which has allowed him to get better. The tools have played up slightly. Even the grade jumps this spring are probably going to help him move into that third round consideration. At the Super 60 was outstanding, did what he had to do, float around the infield, looked the part at shortstop. He's going to play all over the diamond. The right-handed stroke plays. There's been some power throughout the spring. And I think at this point, the amount of guys who are going in there saying he just absolutely performs. We think this guy has a chance to be a big leaguer. Let's go at him. I think definite third round potential for Trey Snyder. Devin Fitzgerald, one of my personal favorites in the class, not one of the state of Florida's best prep classes in recent memory, but there is still tons of value. Devin Fitzgerald, Stoneman Douglas, national champions. He's been all over the place. Everybody knows who he is, steps into the plate, and he still gets it done. Big spots. It doesn't matter. He gets up there and he rakes. Another switch hitting shortstop, which again is very rare coming from the American side. I probably profiles more as a versatile defender where you can play third base, second base. You're going to definitely send him out at shortstop, but it's the bat and the ability to cover the plate from both sides. There's definitely power potential there. I've seen it myself. He can really hit. He's able to turn the barrel in a tight window. Love everything about Devin Fitzgerald. I think he might be that sneaky guy that nobody's talking about loudly, and then all of a sudden you hear him on day 1 or early on day 2. So Devin Fitzgerald, NC State recruit, outstanding from there at Stoneman Douglas High School. And then rounding out the top 10, Mikey Ryan, a Louisiana kid from New Orleans, Rummel High School. I think what he did over the summer in front of some mega decision makers is what's going to really help guide him into that potential late round 2, 3, 4, looking shortstop, can really run, but even more so than the speed and the straight line speed, it's that burst, that first step. The speed is impactful in the base pass, can steal a bag. It's a very tight turn, direct path with some strength. Honestly, Johnny Giavitello was a New Orleans native, Catholic leaguer in the city of New Orleans. Kind of similar to that, more direct to the ball, but it jumps off the barrel. Can he stick at shortstop? Well, he's definitely gonna have a chance to do so, but eventually that speed is what's going to be impactful. The impact and acceleration out of the box is something that's there. He plays hard at all times. The ball can be driven to all fields. So he's rounds out the top 10 there. It's a really good bunch here in with regards to shortstops. But again, it's more that depth in that the rounds 2 through 4, who's going to be signable in the end. Even taking a look at 3 through 4 here, or 11 through 15. You got a guy like Sawyer Farr, who's long, lean, kind of exploded late in the process out of the state of Texas, another Dallas area native. I think that the state of Texas has seen a ton of guys catch helium this spring. Sawyer Farr is definitely one of those. We'll see what the signability is. Owen Pano was kind of famous early on, Ole Miss recruit from the state of New York. He's one that, for me, if he's not signing this year, you're betting on him in the SEC developing into that. It's a physical frame, not the runner that these other guys are. Probably profiles more as a third baseman. If the power comes into play, the exit velo are a little bit lower throughout the summer, and the results were a little bit lower. But he's a guy who goes to the SEC if you let him get there and can explode there. Manny Marin, Team USA, kind of done it all. One of the more natural shortstops in this class. That defensive ability is going to be something that puts him in that round 3, 4, rounds 3 to 5, if not higher. If you've seen a lot of him, he's had that production level. Rustin Rigdon, guy from the state of Georgia, was hurt early, came on strong late. He's committed to Vanderbilt. Not sure what is going to happen with the signability, but the dude can really play. Man, now that I think about it, lots of switching shortstops in this class, because Rustin Rigdon's another one of those guys, can also pitch, does it all. Another one who slows the game down really well. The barrel walks away, hands drive through the ball, can send some majestic shots. I think even more power is going to come. And then Drew Dickerson, who might be the most polarizing guy in this class. It's freaky athleticism, square shoulder. He walks on the field, you know who is that guy. There is some swing and miss in there, lacks some polish around, but left side defender, can go out the center field. If it clicks, you got super high upside. So it's one of those high risk, high reward guys that guys are probably going to be following later throughout day 2, if not earlier, if he goes off late in the season. But that's a look at the top 15 prep shortstops. There are a ton after this. There's going to be lots of value in that day 2 range. But look for a guy like Bryce Rayner to be first, if not second off the board from the prep side of things. But I'm Shooter Hunt, Vice President of Scouting with Prep Baseball. This has been a War Room Short. We'll see you next time.